bobo kadunga mosquito sia shocky things bobo eh lock it keep bobo the shocky things bobo. Right, it is the 27th of June 2023. This Tuesday, I'm happy to be joining you and start your day for setting a successful tone for your week. This is Biashara Tuesday on KUTV Rise. Today we are streaming live from our television stations in the vicinity of the capital of Kenya, Nairobi, and we're going through a lot of stories that are surrounding the economy. We're taking a look at business, technology, and politics as well. How you're making money is our key focus on this show. So tweet us out and tell us what you think the direction of the economy is going, and also what your plans are in terms of finances and as well as economic thriving activities that you're taking a part in, be it work or business. The president yesterday assented the finance bill of 2023, the controversial finance bill of 2023. Now the Finance Act of 2023 has now become law. It is no longer a question of when this will be implemented. It's actually no longer a question of if this will be implemented. It is what. What are you going to do to adjust effectively to the new taxes, which will be effective as of the 1st of July 2023? The budget, which is already read as of last week in Parliament at 3.6 trillion, the government is seeking to raise an additional 311 billion Kenyan shillings as compared to the previous financial year. And how they're going to do this? Several provisions are there in the Finance Act of 2023, touching on a very important sectors with the Kenya Kwanza government is trying to focus in trying to raise revenue. Digital content creators will now be required to give 5% of withholding tax from their monetization that they do on their digital content. There is also more on the controversial housing levy, which was set at 1.5%, matched by the employer, also 1.5%. So effectively, 3% of your gross salary will be contributed towards that housing fund, or known as the housing levy. There are also new fuel taxes, that is VAT on petroleum products, set at a new 16% from the previous 8%, which means there are going to be new prices on petroleum products as early as this coming Saturday, which will be the 1st of July 2023. Prices of petroleum products at the pump will be going up by more than 10 Kenyan shillings. Currently, at between 178 to 180 Kenyan shillings is what a liter of petrol goes for at the pump. So as of Saturday, going forward, above 193 Kenyan shillings and upwards of 200 for areas which are cut off or are at least far off from the capital city, that is Nairobi. Members of Parliament also approved a new debt ceiling at 10 trillion. Previously set at 10 trillion, now members of Parliament have now switched it to debt anchor as a percentage of GDP, set at 55%. President William Ruto's cabinet in March of this year gave a nod to the National Assembly to actually change this debt ceiling from the current limit of 10 trillion to what we are now setting it at 55% of GDP in terms of the current value terms. Now, this new ceiling means that the government is already in breach, given that what I'm seeing here in the numbers I have, Kenya's debt is above 70% of the GDP, and the new administration will now be forced to find means to walk the country backwards through growing the economy and slowing down on new loans. However, a majority of what is going to patch up that new budget at 3.6 trillion is going to be new loans the government will have to acquire. This new set of percentages, that is anchoring the debt as a percentage to the GDP, is a way of Kenya aligning with the requirements that have been provided by international lenders such as the IMF. No longer, or as soon as the ink had settled down on that finance bill of 2023, the president is already giving out a new proposal to raise NHIF contributions to 2.75% of your gross income, that is your salary. Given that already the finance bill was overwhelmingly voted into by members of Parliament, it is also expected that you can find new percentages or new remittances getting into effect, that is as of this NHIF. Just a week in, the new CBK governor, Kamau Thuge, has already called for a surprise monetary policy meeting, which was set
2 days ago, and they've given a new benchmark for credit lending at banks from what was there at 9.5% and now currently at 10.5%. Listen, this means that the loans, the servicing of loans in banks is going to get even more expensive, further eroding the power of the Kenyan consumer. So these are the kind of issues that we're taking a look at and developing in the Republic as of the moment. And as the question I asked earlier is, what are you going to do to adjust to the new economic conditions that are there in the Republic of Kenya? Let me know on social media at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. This show will be taking a look at much more of this and other developments from all over the world and how they are going to influence your purchasing power, your spending power, and if there's any future or any hope into the future of things, of course, having a turn around. I am excited to be joined this morning by the newest president of the TVET Students Association. He will help me to delve much more into this and other developments which are there in the dailies, including top of business in the Business Daily this morning is that Kenyans are going to spend some more in servicing retired civil servants and their relatives. 600 million is the budget in the next financial year that is going to catering for the former president, the former vice presidents, their children, whatever they need in terms of healthcare, whether locally, all abroad, entertainment, travel allowances, and the chunk of it is going to former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who will be receiving 400 million of this 600 million, which is set in the next budget, in the next financial year. Think about that as I come back with much more and interact with us, of course, on the stream at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_OKENYE. I'll be looking at that feedback where we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, KUTV Kenya Live. Tell me where you're tuning in from already. I have a couple of guys who have sent in messages as we introduce the show. But first, what is happening on those roads? What kind of developments are there in WRC? And what alternative routes can you use this morning? And then we get back to matters of Biashara Tuesday. Welcome to the show. All right, this week as Saturday, there will be a marathon in Nairobi, which means that the expressway will not be in operation. Let me get those details very correctly. But in the meantime, current transport and traffic conditions for the city are looking like this. Thika Road is looking good today. So if you're heading out of town, mambo iko shwari sana, or coming this other way as well, you should be getting to work as fast as possible. Jogoo Road also looking good this morning. Currently, it's drizzling and very, very windy in Malindi. Drive with caution. It's also, I think, a bit foggy in Nairobi and its environs. If you have more updates, tell us that as well. The new fleet ya Super Metro to Kitengela, kuna Kadere hapo dealing with trailers on Mombasa Road. It's different than applying matatu culture on other routes. So I think it's a advice to Super Metro who are expanding to Kitengela to take care of that route. It's not as normal when you're heading to the airport as compared to other matatu routes. So that's information there. There's traffic heavy from Cabanas to JKIA towards Mulolongo. If you're heading that way, be aware of that. There is also information coming from Parklands. It is heavy traffic as always when you're coming from Parklands Sports Club. There's accident on your way to Kahawa Sukari. Police there should be attending to it. Also giving us more information from Thika Road. This is from KU to Kahawa Sukari. So if you're heading that way, please do take. I think there was also an accident there yesterday around the hours of the evening. So something needs to be done about Kahawa Sukari. A drunk driver who was speeding when he went through a red light, killing a pedestrian. So a drunk driver killed a pedestrian and only fined 30,000 Kenyan shillings. Kenyans are asking if this, if you are taking road safety seriously, a fine of 30k for killing someone and you're free on the road. So there is also that retesting of monthly drivers that is happening by NTSA. So ask your driver if they have been retested. WRC happened last week, but let's not shift our focus away from road safety and focus on the speed, because there was a lot of speeds as when it comes to safari rallies. So if you're back to Nairobi from Naivasha, forget what happened in WRC, forget the speeds, maintain order and law on those roads. If you have more updates, please inform us. Let's get back to business on Biashara Tuesday, but first I'll be taking a look at the developments from your world, the news updates from KUTV Newsroom. Here they come, don't go far. All right, watching us all the way from Isiolo is Jep Chumba, saying that we are looking good today, or I am looking good today. Thank you very much, Jep Chumba, for watching us this morning. Also, Jessica Motho from Ruiru watching us live as well. Thank you for tuning in to the show. I see also here is Sheila from Kasarani. Anasema leo imebidi nimeamkia. Nilikuwa nimechocha last week, but now I'm here. Welcome to the show. I also see there is Boniface also tuning in from Juja. Thank you for tuning in. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube, KUTV Kenya Live. If you're away from your television sets, we'll be looking at your feedback. Interact with the rest of those who are watching and tuning in on Facebook or YouTube. We're looking at those comments as we go on. There are conversations that are happening here this morning. I'm happy to be joined, as I said earlier, by the president, the newest, who was just voted into power, taking over from Kimani Wachira, who's been on the show, the president of the TVET Students Association. He'll be putting into perspective the headlines this morning, the Business Daily, the Daily Nation, and the Standard. Youth involvement in community welfare. How can the youth involve themselves in the community, and what is the position in obtaining, how can we obtain a voice in community welfare? Where have we been failing? What kind of weak points are we taking a look at, and how can we change effectively so that we are heard and our voice makes sense in the midst of what is happening in the economy? This conversation on youth involvement in community welfare, I'll be having it with Edwin Oiko. He is the chairman, the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. So keep it here. That will be happening a bit later. But first, the news updates from KUTV Newsroom. And of course, we begin with the Finance Bill, or the Finance Act of 2023. President William Ruto officially signed into law the Finance Bill of 2023 following its approval by the National Assembly on Wednesday, June 21st. The signing of the bill was witnessed by other government officials, including the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, who was its chief campaigner at the August House. The bill was signed in State House, Nairobi.
President William Ruto's fiscal policies and taxation measures contained in the Finance Bill 2023 have been signed into law. The president assented to the bill at State House earlier today after it was forwarded by the National Assembly. This comes just a day before Azimio's responsive rally set to be held in Nairobi's Kamukunji grounds. The opposition, in a quick rejoinder last Thursday, announced to reveal their anti-finance bill courses of action on Tuesday 27th after the contentious bill was passed in Parliament.
Aburi donye dori.
Last week, the bill sailed through the National Assembly during the third reading after a majority of MPs voted for it. And now, following the presidential assent, Kenyans are expecting to dig deeper into their pockets to finance the government's budget.
This will be the saddest day in the history of this country. Madam Chair, if there is one thing that is going to affect the common person, if there is one thing that is going to increase the cost of living in all aspects, it is this proposed increment on the VAT on fuel, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we all know for sure that fuel is a driver of our economy.
Key provisions raising controversies in the bill are the 16% fuel VAT, 1.5% monthly deduction of gross pay to fund the national housing development, 5% tax on digital content creations, and more micro-businesses being subjected to taxation.
If in case you are getting or you are going to tax them, it's like you're going to affect with their income, and you don't have you've never created job for this guy. Mtu hajatupea kazi, sasa unatupea tax kitu unanyang'anya kitu janipea aje.
The bill has gone through a series of development stages amid strong opposition from Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya coalition, and Kenyans at large. Having gone through public participation, 3 reading stages in Parliament, and voting before today's major move of presidential assent, the Finance Bill 2023 now becomes law and implementable. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
All right. The Kenya, Bora, Twitter, Kayo assemblies have opposed the move by the president to assent the finance bill into law. The organization claims that the finance bill is a heavy burden for Kenyans and has accused members of parliament for what they termed as betrayal to Kenyans. They have further issued an ultimatum to the government to reduce the high cost of living by the 7th of July, failure to which they will close down parliament.
The finance bill debate continues to elicit divergent views in the country just several days after being passed in Parliament. The Kenya Bora to Itakavyo assemblies now want Kenyans to oppose the bill, which was assented to law by President William Ruto today.
From signing the statement this morning.
Led by Cyprian Nyamwamu and the former presidential aspirant Ruben Kigame, the organization has urged Kenyans to unite and hold the government accountable, as well as control the waste of public funds, citing that the government should start by solving the 10 billion edible oil scandal.
Because Kenya Bora is going to take actions that will evict those 2 gentlemen from office until all the money is recovered. We are taking our country back, and we are not asking Ruto to do anything.
In addition, the organization has accused Parliament for failing to represent Kenyans by passing the finance bill, even after 93% of Kenyans rejected it. They have further warned that they will close down Parliament if it does not discharge its mandate of representing Kenyans.
We shall call and coordinate actions that render all the MPs jobless until the day they declare that they shall be representing the people of Kenya, oversight the executive, and make legislations to secure the interests of the people of Kenya.
Elected democratically members of our parliament, we have delegated our power to them. But the Finance Act is one critical moment that showed us that actually we do not have representatives.
Tutaenda kwa wananchi, tutazungumza na wananchi wawatimue kwa sababu hawana maana yoyote kwa mwananchi. Kabisa. Ikiwa bunge linaweza, wabunge wanaweza kupitisha sheria kupitia vitisho vya rais, vitisho vya executive, basi hawawasilishi wananchi, wanawasilisha executive.
The Kenya Bora to Itakavyo has also called out the president for assenting the bill today, citing that the bill is a heavy burden for Kenyans.
Kuweka sahihi hiyo ni kutangaza vita na Wakenya. Ni kutangaza kwamba yeye hawataki Wakenya mazuri. Ni kutangaza kwamba anataka Wakenya wafinyiliwe kwa kuinuliwa kwa bei ya mafuta, kwa kuinuliwa kwa stima, kwa kuinuliwa kwa bei ya chakula, kwa kuinuliwa kwa kila kitu.
Among the issues they want addressed in the bill include the reduction of cost of electricity, reduction of the price of basic commodities, reduction of fuel VAT to 8%, and the removal of the housing levy. This move comes just a few hours after President William Ruto assented to the finance bill after it was successfully passed in Parliament last week.
President William Ruto yesterday presided over the launch of Boda Boda Care Initiative at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The initiative is meant to reform the Boda Boda business to have smooth operations, the support they need, and the help from them to increase their income. The meeting was attended by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, Health CS Susan Nakumicha, among other government officials.
While presiding over the launch of Boda Boda Care Initiative that was held at the KICC today, President William Ruto announced that the electric bikes he promised during Madaraka Day celebrations are expected to arrive in the country by 1st September, a move that is meant to cut on the expenditure on fuel and boost environmental conservation efforts through use of clean energy.
Alafu kufikia tarehe 1 Septemba, vile nilitangaza kule Embu, tutakuwa tumeagiza na zitakuwa zimefika hapa bodaboda 10,000 ya kwanza, ambaye ni bodaboda ambaye itakuwa inatumia stima. First 10,000 will be here. 100,000 will be in Kenya by December. Na hiyo barabara ndio tutakuwa tunaelekea.
President Ruto has also said that the Ministry of Roads and Transport will partner with the National Transport and Safety Authority to ensure that all qualified Boda Boda operators are licensed, and the Red Cross will educate them on emergency medical care. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha added that the Boda Boda operators will receive a year free medical cover.
Tatizo kubwa ni kwamba watu wanaendesha pikipiki ya boda boda hawajafanyiwa training na hawana leseni, ndio tunapata ajali nyingi.
But I want to encourage the Boda Bodas that this is not personal. Ensure your dependents are listed so that not just you get care, but your family members get care as well.
The benefits the Boda Boda operators will enjoy as listed in the finance bill by President Ruto include reduction of import duty on motorcycle parts from 35% to 10%. There will be no VAT costs at charging stations for the electric bikes, among others.
Tumewakubalia kwa mfano, walikuwa wanaambiwa wasiingie town. Na nikuuliza, kwani ukisema boda isingie town, inamaanisha town ni ya watu wena gani? Kwani town ni ya wadosi peke yao? Tukasema bora kuna mpangilio, kuna njia unatumia, kama ni LSLS unajua vile utaingia, kama ni Moi Avenue, kama ni Kenyatta Avenue, na pale ya kudrop mtu wako na pale wa kupick. Lakini wale ambao wanapeleka chakula in that labeled bike ambayo nyuma iko na hiyo container, kama mtu ameoda chakula KCC na umwambia asimame Tomboya, si chakula itakuwa baridi.
Governor Johnson Sakaja also condemned the directive that barred motorcycles from accessing the CBD, claiming it is a business like any other. The progress of the initiative will be assessed after about a month to ensure the deliverables are met. Ivy Bina, KUTV.
All right, moving away from that, President William Ruto as well presided over the inauguration of the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council at the State House, Nairobi. The council has been set up to accelerate realization of universal health coverage and to address the constant challenges which are facing the health sector in the country between the counties, the national government, and the healthcare workers. The president lauded the devolution of health services, claiming it has improved the health sector as compared to the period when the health function was handled by the national government. Ruto has hence promised that the national government has no intention whatsoever to transfer back the health function from the county governments. The council, which was set up in May, comprises of Francis Wafula, Rosemary Njaramba, John Machoyo, Joy Mugambi, and Thomas Mweu.
I will not expect the council to favor the national government or favor the county government. We want a win-win. We want a fair chance for everybody. I will not expect you to favor the workers as opposed to the government, because we are all in one space, and it is our responsibility and duty to serve the people of Kenya. The national government has no intention whatsoever to reverse what the Constitution did make legitimately, to transfer health services to county governments.
In the past 10 years of implementation of devolved health, various human resource health issues and challenges have arisen, which require urgent action, and on which we hope that the council, which is highly professional, will be able to address. These include postgraduate training of doctors and other health workers and specialists.
We were extremely careful in selection of the council because of the issues that we have had around the health workforce. The chair, Your Excellency, Professor Frank Wafula, is a health system strengthening expert who currently serves as a lecturer at the University of Strathmore. He is the one who is going to chair this council.
There was a lot happening in State House yesterday as President William Ruto also celebrated and honored over 4,000 St. John's ambulance volunteers in a special Thanksgiving prayer and symbolic inspection parade. The event, known as the St. John Annual Inspection Parade, marks the 93rd ceremony since the establishment of St. John Ambulance in Kenya in 1923, as Pati Kodur now reports.
President William Ruto has today hosted over 4,000 members of St. John Ambulance from across the country, along with senior volunteers, for a prayer service and inspection parade at State House, Nairobi. During the event, Ruto recognized the volunteers for their contributions to various life-saving missions in their respective areas of operation in the country. He commended St. John Ambulance for their dedication in supporting the government's efforts in providing emergency and free hospital medical services to Kenyans, especially during emergencies such as the COVID-19 pandemic.
St. John's embodies those who feel for the pain of others, and they step forward to do something about it, to help in situations that are of an emergency nature, situations that otherwise could lead into loss of life. And I want to say to all of you, congratulations.
The president expressed the government's commitment to providing quality and affordable health care, emphasizing the importance of preventive and promotive health care in achieving a universal health coverage in Kenya. Ruto also announced the integration of these community first respondents into the government's community health volunteer programs, aiming to enhance community health care at the household level.
And pre-hospital care is an integral component of quality health care services. We are committed to, as expressly expressed in our agenda and articulated by Minister here, to the provision of quality, affordable health care and the achievement of universal health coverage in Kenya. And that is why preventive and promotive health care is important to us.
The president also announced that the government will allocate 1 acre of land to St. John Ambulance to help them build a suitable facility to support their emergency healthcare services.
That in continuation of this partnership with government and in response to your request, the government of Kenya is going to allocate 1 acre of land so that you can relocate from your current premise. And I urge Kenyans of goodwill, partners of goodwill from both local and international, to work with the St. John's for them to be able to put up a building befitting the sacrifice and contribution that is being made by St. John.
During the event, volunteers as young as 6 to 12 years old were also recognized for their contributions. the sitting president automatically assumes the role of chief patron of St. John, Kenya, making their presence a significant part of the event. Patrick Odur, KUTV.
Okay, now moving on, it is a relief for Siaya Deputy Governor William Oduol as he successfully survived the impeachment after a majority of senators voted against his removal from office, last evening. A total of 27 senators rejected the 2 charges that were previously found to be proven and substantiated by the Senate Special Committee investigating his removal. This is following his impeachment in the Siaya County Assembly. 16 senators, mainly from the Azimio faction, voted in favor of Oduol's removal. The accusations leveled against him included gross violation of the Constitution and the abuse of his office.
Now, the special committee has found that the particulars of charge 1, gross violation of the Constitution and other laws, and charge 2, abuse of office and gross misconduct, have been substantiated. Is that pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33(8) of the County Government Act, and Standing Order 87 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate has failed to remove from office by impeachment Honorable William Oduol, the Deputy Governor of Siaya County, and that the Deputy Governor accordingly continues to hold office.
Moving away from the Senate, the government has downplayed claims that the newly imposed 10% import levy will kill industries, saying that it will rather promote local industries to thrive. According to the Principal Secretary for State Department of Industry, Dr. Juma Mukwana, the government is focused and committed to promoting local manufacturers and to enable them produce products locally instead of importing them from outside the country.
Principal Secretary for the State Department of Industry in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Dr. Juma Mukwana, has said that the introduction of the 10% import levy on a number of products produced locally in the Finance Bill 2023 was aimed at supporting local industries.
Our role is to get more people to manufacture here. And what have we done in the Finance Bill? In the Finance Bill 2023, we have put an import levy on materials, on products that we can make here. As we have said, we are not going to allow you to import things that we can make here.
Dr. Juma Mukwana noted that following the conclusion of the Kenya-European Union Partnership Agreement, giving Kenya a duty-free market to 2027 European Union countries, Kenya now has access to a larger market. However, he says it is a challenge since the country lacks sufficient locally produced goods to sell to other countries.
So if we can't get manufacturing here, the only way we are going to satisfy that big EU market of nearly 500 million people is for us to manufacture here. So they have opened up a market. It is duty-free, it is quota-free, which means you can sell as much as you want. They will not charge you duty, but we must have something to sell. And so what we are asking is that we, as a country, want to stop exporting raw material.
Mili Glass Vice Chair Mohammed Rashid noted that the gross domestic product GDP of manufactured products is expected to increase up to 20% by the year 2030.
I think we are now walking the talk. The government is already telling us they want manufacturing to go to 20% of GDP by 2030. I think as today's investors and private investors in this country, we are seeing it happen because when a PS comes to see you and wants to know what you do and what you're producing, it's a move in the right direction.
The government is in a move to boost its economic status in the country by boosting the local manufacturing of products. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
Right. We're going to take a look at a bit of agriculture, but before that, I want you to get excited for a conversation that is coming up. Food insecurity is a major challenge in Kenya. Actually, the numbers here show that 20% of Kenyans are facing malnutrition and lack proteins is lack of proteins is the major cause of this kind of malnutrition. So we are trying to look at alternative sources of food. And I'm quoting great philosophers here who once said, teremka teremka ka kono kono. You can get to check who those are, but this morning I'm having a conversation with a very interesting gentleman from Kono Farm. They're trying to make you understand why snails are a very good source of white meat. Be waiting for that, but in the meantime, pastoralists in Tana River County have begun venturing into farming following the effects of climate change that has had a negative impact on their livelihoods in the recent past. Most of the residents have swiftly shifted to farming after losing lots of animals during the drought pandemic. In order to save the once fertile land, Tana River County Woman Representative Amina Deka visited farmers from 15 villages in the area with water pumps and pipes to encourage irrigation.
Tana River County Women Representative Amina Dika and officials from the Ministry of Agriculture have toured 15 villages in Tana River County to distribute water pumps, pipes and seeds for irrigation to farmers. The residents are impressed with the effect of climate change contributing to the transitioning from pastoralism to farming.
Ni kuona wafugaji wengi pia wamebadili nia ya kuwa wakulima. Ni kwa sababu gani? Wafugaji unapata mara nyingi wamekuwa wakiweka mifugo. Lakini climate change imekuja in a way that drive watu from kufuga na sasa imeingia ukulima. Na sisi kwetu ni advantage kubwa sana kama watu wa Tana River because tuko na hii ardhi. Na tunaomba serikali kipata ile mashirika ambao sasa wana support hii issue ya climate change, Tana River ipewe kipaumbele pia.
Mohamed Shobe, a resident of Santhama, reveals that he ditched pastoralism 3 years ago following the drought disaster that caused the death of his many livestock. However, despite resorting to farming, he still faces challenges which include lack of access to roads, making it difficult to transport the harvest to the market. At the same time, the rough tilling of land has contributed to difficulty in farming.
Mzee Mohamed Shobe, mimi safari yangu ya ukulima ilianza mwaka juzi wakati ukame mbaya ile iliyokuja kutufagilia ng'ombe zote. Hapo ndio nikachange maoni yangu ya ufugaji nikaanza kuingia mambo ya ukulima. Kuanzia hapo nimepata changamoto kubwa sana. Ukulima ya huku sisi tunataka kulima saa hii, kujitolea kwa hali na mali. Lakini shida kubwa ya sehemu hii ambayo tuko ni barabara. Hasa ukitoka huku barabara kuu kuja huku kivuko ya Dibe, tunaomba serikali kuu kiwezekana biliji ijengwe immediately kwa sababu ya huduma yetu ya huku.
According to Molu, a farmer in Santhama, says he had to practice farming because drought had occupied the area they were living. He called on the county and the national government to come and also help them as the area has the ability to feed the whole Tana River County if practiced.
Galo Roba Molu, maarufu jina ambaye inajulikana zaidi na watu wote illiterate leader. Kwa hivyo hapa sisi kama jamii wa wafugaji, lakini saa hii tumebadilisha, tumekuwa wakulima. Na saa hii wale wakulima ambaye inajulikana tangu hapo mbeleni, saa hii wanakuja kununua chakula kwetu. Kwa sababu tumebadilisha, kwa hali ya kiangazi ametulazimisha. Ukame imekuja, kiangazi imekuja kwa wingi, mfugo saa hii hali yake si mzuri. Tumebadilisha, tumekuwa wakulima. Kwa hivyo saa hii ndio kazi ambayo tunashikilia, mnajionea. Kwa hivyo Mama County, Mheshimiwa Amina Dika, Women Representative Tana River County, ametushika mkono tangu alipoingia kiti. Hapo mbeleni kuna waheshimiwa wengi wamepita, lakini hatujaona kazi yao. Lakini saa hii ametushika mkono, tunaona kwa kila mahali akisimama akitoa kitu paka burra wapi, na saa hii ametufikia. Na tunashukuru, ametuletea mbegu, mashine ya water pump, kila kitu ametushika mkono, na saa hii ako area atatukujia. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru.
Women Representative Amina Dika urged the government and donors implementing climate change project to consider Tana River County so as to help them change their lives and families.
Na ile bidii leo nimeona hapa ni bidii kama kiongozi na pia kama national government ikisimama na sisi sisi watu wa Tana River, sidhani kama tutakuwa tunaenda kutafuta chakula kwingine. Mungu ametubariki, lakini pia hawa watu wetu vile mlivyoona si watu ambao wanajiweza. Wako chini upande wa kifedha na kila kitu. So tunaomba, nataka support ya serikali.
The impact of climate change have been experienced in various countries across the globe. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
That's what we could get for you this morning on the updates from KUTV Newsroom. We are very grateful, of course, to our reporters and the KUTV Newsroom team for going out and getting us those pieces of stories which we are now linking down to matters of business on Biashara Tuesday. We're not moving at a snail's pace, but we'll be coming back here to talk about a revolutionary way to solve hunger and malnutrition. Today, we are diving into the slimy success of Kono Farm. We're not leaving any shell unturned, so stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Anemia is a condition in which the blood doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells, and this leads to reduced oxygen levels in the body organs.
Anemia is not a disease per se. Anemia is a manifestation of another condition.
There you had it from Daktari. It is important to seek regular checkups, not just for anemia, but also other latent conditions.
The Shakahola issue being used as the benchmark here on the sheer push for regulating or setting up a regulation against religion should really be looked at independently. Then we shall soberly engage our legislators.
What are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that you are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farms around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Analyze. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
kuhamahama. Na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. Kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok, hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora. Kwani kilimo ndicho boresha maisha.
To the Church Attraction. I'm your host, Esther Vicky.
And my name is DJ Tero.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani nakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artists hapa on Gospel Arts
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
A new day it is, and welcome back to Biashara Tuesday. If you've joined us for the first time, we've been having updates here and there. The roads are looking not so good for you in Nairobi and its environs. The weather updates into the next few days is going to be a bit foggy, rainy in most parts of the nation, and you can expect to get cold seasons throughout the day. So prepare warmly and prepare yourself if you're going out for business and work. Continue giving us your feedback on our live stream, KUTV Kenya Live on YouTube, where we'll be all the way to 10 in the morning live. All the conversations that are happening here will be streamed to you, so enjoy yourself and tell us what you think. Right about now, we are moving to a meal, so let's talk about farming and diversification of agriculture. What alternative sources of food have you gotten to take a look at? On this show, we've looked at urban gardening, how you can set up a small garden at the back of your single room, bed-sitter, 1 bedroom, that balcony you have there. Set up yourself nicely. Considering the cost of living is going up, the food crisis is also hitting really hard. The spending power of the Kenyan consumer is eroding day by day. What alternatives are there for you that are environmentally conscious, that are price-friendly, and maybe something new and nutritional for you? Speaking to Ephraim from Kono Farm. He's a founder and also training farmers on how to do snail farming. Let's get to hear how you can participate, how the youth can involve themselves, how this provides direct and indirect employment, but also really, what is the market demand like for snail meat? Welcome to the show, Ephraim.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Introduce yourself first, and then we can now slowly, in the snail space, get to the conversation.
Okay, so my name is Ephraim Okeo. I'm the founder of Kono Farm, and we are based in Nairobi. So what we do is we rear edible snails as a solution to food insecurity and malnutrition. And what inspired me is that while I grew up, first of all, having 3 meals in a day was a very big challenge for me. And you'll find that right now, 1/3 of Kenyans are facing severe food shortage. Like you said, 20% are facing malnutrition, and lack of protein is the major cause. So for long, humanity has depended in ready-made sources of protein, and as we all know, keeping these large herds is leading to land degradation, affecting climate change. And the waters are also affected, and you'll find that those who are depending on seafood sources of protein will need to diversify new sources of food to eat. Another problem is unemployment. Right now, the youths are really complaining about jobs. There's no jobs has become scarce, and for us, we believe that food diversification is one of the ways to win war against hunger and malnutrition. Yes.
How does snail farming contribute now to addressing this issue of malnutrition and a lack of protein amongst Kenyans?
First of all, we'll find that in snail farming have the benefit of being environmental friendly, and it is a very good source of protein. It is considered white meat, and it comes with other nutritious values. And
all right, so we are taking a look at snails, but there are also others which, maybe, I don't know, slimes, slugs. What can you tell us about the difference?
Another thing, people, if you maybe mention snail farming or snail delicacy, first of all, things that people picture is the slugs, but kuna difference between a snail and a slug. The snail has a shell and the slug does not have a shell.
Okay. So hopefully no one goes out right now to hunt down slugs.
And here not every snail is edible, and that's why we train people on which species.
Before we get into maybe to know which snail people should look out for their meals, why not slugs as well? What is wrong with slugs? Why are we discriminating slugs from this meal table?
Okay, slugs are there's others that are quite poisonous, and these ugonjwa, kuna magonjwa zenye zinatoka kwa slugs, so they aren't good for human.
Okay. And for snails, what makes one snail good for a meal and the other not good for a meal?
The question is quite hard, but the research has been done, and now humans have embraced the delicacy, and Okay.
So maybe there are some which are more nutritious than others, or others that are poisonous as well.
Yeah, there's others that are not edible.
Okay, so when you're doing this training on farmers, I understand you also train other farmers to do the snail farming. How does the training happen, and what exactly do you equip them knowledge on?
Okay, so we usually have training workshops, maybe once in a month. And when farmers come or people come, we usually involve most of our community members. So we usually train on how to rear the snails. Apart from the snail meat, the snail has a lot of benefits. We have the slime, of which is harvested and used in cosmetic products.
Okay.
So we usually also sell the slime in liters. And apart from the slime, we also have the shell, of which has a good calcium content, for which we grind into powder and use the shell powder to formulate animal feeds. So we train them to rear the snail, how to rear the snails, how to harvest the slime, and also how to formulate this animal feeds from the shell powder, and also how to cook, because most people do not know how to cook the snail. So there's a recipe and there's a process that we show them on.
Okay.
So we engage them through theory and practical.
All right.
Yeah.
In now snail farming, am I setting up a farm? Am I setting up a garden? I understand I can't tether a snail like I would a cow or a goat, right, to a pole and come later on after grazing it and get it in the house.
Yes.
How does the setup look like, and how does the process of I don't say hunting down snails, the process of gathering snails, how does it look like?
Okay, the first of all, another advantage is that snail farming is very easy, and it requires a little space.
Okay.
You'll find, like, if compared to beef production, a kg of snail meat will require like 10 square meters, but for a kg of beef, we will require like 326 square meters to produce like 1 kg.
Right.
So everyone can rear their own snails at the comfort of their home. So you do not need a large space or something.
And the setup that guards them. And
So-
my snails are.
So there is different structures.
Okay.
We also train on that. We have different housings that people should try out. So kuna manyumba, different housing. We have like the concrete type of pens. We have the wooden, the net houses. Yes.
All right. How do I get the snails, man? Is there a snail shop, or do I get a baby snail, or a father snail and a mother snail and get more snails, or where are there areas specific within the country where snails are?
Okay, like in Confirm, right now we first of all train, like maybe the people who are interested, we first of all train them, we enable them to start their own farms. Then after starting their own farm, we connect them with the market.
Okay.
So after training, we enable you with the resources that you need. So you'll find that maybe you need the breeder stock or something. So after training you, we give you the breeder stock so that you can start. So before that, there's people who are doing large scale. There's other farmers who are doing large scale. So maybe if you're interested, like us, when we started, we got our seeds from another farm.
Seeds?
Yeah, we call them breeder stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How does a large scale setup for a snail farm look like? I would imagine, is it as big as maybe how people have like 1,000 cattle in a herd?
Yeah, we have greenhouses. There's other who are doing it in greenhouses. We have net houses where people are doing it. But for the small scale farmers, there's these wooden pens and types of housing that they require.
Let's speak matters market demand as well as the cost of farming, snail farming. You've already informed us, of course, rightly there, that the amount of space that someone needs for snail farming is a bit smaller to produce 1 kg as compared to maybe beef or any other product. So how maybe even if not in exact figures, what is the damage to my pocket if I was to start snail farming tomorrow?
So like I said, to start a snail farm is very easy. First of all, the cost of production is very low, because you find that even the feeds are they're readily available. Like the waste that we usually collect the waste from the vibandas, because they mostly feed on vegetables. We have the fruits, but not the acidic ones. So you can get them readily from the waste markets. Even the kitchen waste is just that they do not consume the food which contains a lot of salt. So if it is ile chakula inatoka kwa nyumba, you need to rinse them a little bit with maji. Then you do not need a lot of amount of cash to start to venture into the snail farm.
Do they reproduce quickly?
They reproduce, they lay eggs, and they are hermaphrodites. That's another advantage.
What does that mean?
They have both genders.
Oh, right.
So they exchange with seasons. So a snail hatches 3 clutches in a year. Per clutch, an individual snail can hatch up to 200 eggs.
Okay.
So they also reproduce very fast.
All right, that sounds very very promising. Is it something that can be done in any part of the country, or are there specific weather conditions that are necessary?
Snail farming can be done anywhere, as long as you maintain the condition. Because they prefer a moist environment.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the market demand like, though? If we are talking about the people that I'm going to sell these snails to once they have reproduced, is there enough market for 200 eggs per snail per year?
Okay. For them, that's a good question, because right now most people want to venture into snail farming, but they have doubts where is the market? Nani atanunua? So what I will say about the market is that even as ourselves, Conofam, we cannot meet the demand for the snail meat.
You don't see?
We cannot meet the demand. And
there's that many people who want.
There is a lot of demand for the snail meat because of the meat benefit. And that's why right now we are engaging other farmers.
Okay.
We are training a lot of farmers right there, so that kuna wakati tunakosa hata tunauza tunakosa kabla tungoje zingine zigrow. So we have to engage the other farmers pia ndio waweze kujijenga.
Mnaingia kwa forest mnachukua locals slaves.
No, we don't do that. So for the slime also, they got a lot of demand because of the cosmetic industry.
All right. So you tell me I could meet a lady very well dressed, smelling nicely, but amepiga tu snail up kutoka juu hadi chini.
Yeah, you can do it organically pia. So some of our clients, we have the expatriates from Asia and Western Africa. In West Africa, the snail delicacy is very common.
Not like in this side of
Kenya ndio wameanza kuembrace. We have some of the locals, kuna Wakenya already wameembrace. They really love the snail food. And farmers, for us, we usually sell the animal feeds to the farmers. And also we have cosmetic and pharmacy industry, where we sell the slime to them, those cosmetic products. And also there's medicines made out of the slime also. And
there's a lot of stuff that can be done with just one snail. The shell, the meat, the slime.
Apart from that, in the shell we also have intestines.
Okay.
So when you have a fish pond there, and there's some clients who want the meat it is already processed out of the shell. So when you remain ukibaki na ile intestines ambayo umebaki nayo, it is a good feed for the fish.
Yes. Smutura for the fish.
For the fish. Ukiwa na fish pond hapo bado ni chakula ya samaki. So everything
it's a wholesome product. Yani hakuna kitu inago to waste.
Hakuna kitu inaenda kwa waste.
Is it possible for me to pick a snail and add it to my if I met a snail on my way out to the gate, is it possible to add it to my stock? Or do I have to get an expert? Or
really, you need to get an expert.
Okay.
So ndio kuambia, maybe you can go and put it na ilete damage or something. Ama mtu akule ni poisonous, so you are required to maybe find an expert.
Street snail. It's like bringing a stray dog. You have a stray dog home, You want it to interbreed with your special breed. So that's snail farming for you right there. Let's talk about the once now it's on the table. First of all, before we get there, how do I convince my mother that she can have a snail with ugali. You know, Kenyans are normally very conservative in nature, and it takes some time before we can adapt to, you know, new methods, new things, new food especially. You know, we are known all over Africa as the republic that has the least spices sometimes. Yeah? West Africa are so well known with spices. As you said, there snails are a delicacy in that side of the continent, and it's a norm. When you come to this side, how fast? You told me the demand is high, but there's also, you know, a very large population which is very averse to trying it out. How do you get to convince people that this is good?
So snail we call it escargot, the snail meat. Escargot. It's very, very delicious.
I'm just swallowing something.
It's very delicious, and it has a lot of benefits. First of all, it is a good source of protein. Another thing, it comes with a lower fat content. It is good in vitamin A, a good source of omega-3 iron. So as compared to other sources of protein, it is just unique. And even those people who have like high blood pressure, diabetic people, people with heart problems are encouraged to feed on snails.
All right. Yeah. The first thing that people think about when they hear snail on their table is that it's going to be slimy. So what do I have it with? Do I dip my ugali and it's, you know, coming out string like it's called murenda? Is that how it behaves on the table, or what kind of ways are there for preparing snail as a meal?
There is a process. So we usually do it on our trainings. After the theory part, we showing them how to cook. There is a process of which, after sorting the snail meat out of the shell, there's how you wash it with lemon and salt, so that you get over the slimish part. Then you remain only with the meat. Then after there, it's ready to be cooked.
All right. What do I have it with?
Yeah, you can. Some people have it with rice. You can have it with ugali, chapati, or maybe you can dry it and have it as a snack.
All right.
Make it crunchy, a bit crunchy.
Just popping it as I walk along. What is the potential for growth then into the future that you've seen so far? You told me that Kono Farm has been in operation for the past 2 years or so. Into the future, is there growing demand as well? What is the potential?
There is a very growing demand because, like, right now in Kenya, a lot of people are really embracing the delicacy. And in 5 years, I think a lot of people are going to be consuming the snail because also of the climate change and stuff. So there's really a potential in the market for snail delicacy. So I think in the coming years we'll have a lot of people consuming the snails.
Right. Yeah. For Kenyan who's going to try or want to try this out today or this week, what is the fastest or the nearest snail butchery I can get to, and get myself 1 kg, my tomatoes there and onions, and have a meal tonight?
Okay, for now, like, maybe you can contact us. Okay. Like, we are on social media. On Instagram we have konofarm_ke. On Twitter we have konofarm_ke, and on Facebook page we have konofarm_ke. So yeah, contact us, then we will make delivery.
How much is a kg?
A kg like ours goes at 2,500 with the shell, but for the clients who prefer without the shell, we sell at 3,000 shillings. Without the shell.
Without the shell.
Yeah.
Without the shell 3,000, but with the shell
2,500.
Why is it that when the shell becomes expensive?
Because they'll be zitakuwa mingi kidogo, so kg will contain like a lot of kgs.
With the shell takes a lot of space.
Yeah, space. There's still intestines in the shells and stuff.
Alright.
So we are also about to introduce some new products. We've been selling the slime, but right now we want to introduce our own cosmetic products out of the slime. And also for the Kenyans who find snail delicacy ikiwa weird pia, we've been trying to change their mindset through the workshops, but right now we want to like do a lot of value addition. So we want to introduce like snail burgers. I will be mincing the snail, canned snail meat. We'll have snail pizza. Hey, later on we'll have our restaurants where we'll be offering this kind of delicacy.
Man, I'd love to walk into a snail restaurant, you know. I wonder if they serve slowly or there's fast service there.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, really, to see how, you know, snail meat can become an addition on our table, especially considering that, you know, we have a fear for snails. Some of us actually, I think including myself, I can't come near a snail or a slime or a slug that's live, and also, you know, very conservative nature in which we approach our nutrition compared to white meat and red meat. How does snail meat rank? Start on a fish, chicken, beef.
Okay. We wanted to compare it to like the red meat part, but I think itakaribiana na samaki kidogo. Because of the benefits they zina nini kidogo.
Ndio maana mimi pata shell kwa omena zangu. There's something related to this white meats as well. So now, what do you plan, apart from these products that you already have in store, how do you plan to involve youth into this snail farming?
So even currently, we've like created a lot of employment. We've created direct and indirect. These are the youths that we've trained to start their own farms, which we also connect them with the market. And there's also the ones that we've created employment for them directly. So currently we've employed like 10 youths directly into our farm, and like 20 people directly. These are the groups, women groups that we've been training. Yeah, so we usually have like training workshops maybe once in a month. Each and every last Saturdays of the month, we invite all of the community members, like everyone is welcome.
All right. Where does this happen? And is it Nairobi?
Yeah, we are based in Nairobi, just along Kagundo Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is here, it's called maloscophobia, a phobia of the slimy creatures, slugs and snails. You know, this is the thing I was describing that I have, yeah, you know, a fear of that. But if you get it on the table and it's already prepared, I don't need to see its eyes. You know, doesn't need to look at me in any way. I'm very ready to have it.
Yes.
When is the first time you had your first snail meal?
That was 2 years ago. In fact, this also inspired me to, because I found it very delicious. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
We're being shown a dish there on the screen, so you can see it again there. Is that a picture of your meal?
Okay, that was like last week, but when we had an exhibition where people were coming in our farm to come and learn, kuangalia those things that we do. So we had to cook some snail meat to just demonstrate for them. And you'll find that wengine walikuwa wanasema I cannot venture into snail farming, I cannot do that kind of venture. But after tasting the snail meat, that guy was like,
yeah, this is the thing I've been missing. Wow. I wish we had one here. I'm getting
next
hungry
time
as time goes by.
Yeah.
Invite me over to Corner Farm.
Karibu sana.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
Thank you so much. Are there risks maybe that someone should think about before they get into this business?
For the risk, I don't think so, because even for the snails, they are very resistant. So you'll find that there's no like diseases for the snails. I don't think there's risk.
Really?
I've been there for 2 years, but the business is just okay. Yeah.
So now, let's say I've gotten into this snail business, you've already educated me, given me training. How do I start looking for my clients? How do I find my client base to sell this to?
Okay, so as we started with the social media, right? The social media has a lot of power. So first of all, there's clients that we get through the social media, and after there we used to get our other clients through referrals as we've grown. And yeah, someone can just start with the social media, and later on you'll find a lot of clients.
Right. This business is very youth-centric, and I like it because there's that involvement of the youth who are unemployed, and this is a very small scale, something that can start small scale at the back of your garden, and also employing social media in terms of getting your clients. And this kind of youth involvement in community welfare is a conversation we're also having next with Edwin Oiko, who is the chairman, Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. He'll be also telling us if he thinks snail farming is something that he should introduce to his communities, to some of these youth that are trying to get active and employ yourselves. As the government keeps telling us, they don't have money for us. We need to get down and do jobs or create jobs for ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for coming through. How big is your team at Corner Farm? How many people do you need to handle snails?
Okay, like right now we have like our team contains, apart from the youths that we've employed, we have one of our team members who is Gregory Kimani. He is our business advisor and also general manager. We also have someone by the name Masi Kerubo, who is our admin officer and also co-founder of Confirm. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Ephraim Okeo.
Thank you so much.
I've had so much fun having this conversation with you, and hoping next time we'll have actually an alien. What I wanted us to do was have a snail start its journey from there, and then see how long it takes before this interview comes to an end. Okay. But please do invite us over. We'd be loving to see some of what you're doing at Corner Farm.
Thank you so much. You're so welcome.
Right, and all the best into the future.
Thank you so much.
Right, Biashara Kilimo is another program here at KUTV. Boresha Kilimo, sorry. Biashara Tuesday, Kilimo, such happens. But Boresha Kilimo, done by Laban Shaban, is a TV program here at KUTV that you can get to learn more of farming, snail farming and others. So check it out later, and then you can be staying updated. Coming up next are conversations that you don't want to miss out on, so stay tuned. I'll be giving you information on the guests as well, so don't go too far.
Tuende lunch. Chapo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Zikinai tujinai siweke story. Kata maji pia shada liko nasio niko samsuko si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni hii.
Ukiwa adiliva big up, sis big up, shows mama big up, oya wase wote, okay, my principal big up.
Kutoka kwa jamii ya kuhamahama na sasa kujumuisha kilimo katika mitindo yao ya maisha. Kwenye toleo la kaunti ya Narok, hii ni Boresha Kilimo, kwani afya bora ni kilimo bora.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
To the Church Attraction. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terrell.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artists hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box, just name them.
Pull up in a beam, too much, too clean and tall. Don't foster, serious and daughter. A big time player, crib too big and ganja. I went flexer, Tina said gym,
The show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you. Let's be fit.
I went flexer, Tina said gym, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't put it on me, liquor, straight on me, picture.
A loving husband and father. Nothing is too good for my daughter. An ambitious businessman with a dark secret. A girl with a whole life in front of her, plunging into a marriage that she did not choose with the wrong man.
I'm not ready to marry Zero.
But who is the right one? I love Nambi, a rock star, living the dream. But the babes keep chasing me again. It ain't easy being famous, especially with so many glamorous women around. A woman hell-bent on revenge. You'll pay. Seductive, dangerous. She is a predator. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. They will do anything to get it. Love and wealth.
This is my jam down.
I said, man, I will never give up. Na hata nikisota show me something.
Everybody wanna be like me.
You
man, if there's a show that involves youth the most in this republic, it has to be Biashara Tuesday. And if you think I'm lying, go online, tag me, write hashtag Biashara Tuesday, insult me, and let's fight there. And let me see who you think involves the youth more than Biashara Tuesday. KUTV Rise Today is back on air with you on social media, KUTV Kenya live on YouTube, where we're streaming from. We're trying to see how the youth can get voice in society. For a long time, we've been asking for space on the table, but I don't think that has been very favorable to the youth. In the Republic, 20 to 29-year-olds are the greatest population in Africa and in Kenya. I think world over, the population of the youth topples that of anyone else who's above that bracket, which is between 20 and 35, or for Kenya, 20 to 21, and 20 to 29, sorry. And I was seeing a very scary statistic a few days ago that poverty levels in Kenya are affecting mostly the youth aged between 20 and 29 years. And I'll be getting that information to provide the numbers to a gentleman who's joining me on the show, and I'm excited to have this conversation with the chairman of the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. Edwin is here on the set with me, and I'd like to welcome him to introduce himself, and then we can see how can the youth get more involved in community welfare, and how can their voice be heard and respected as well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right. Please introduce yourself first, alafu tutaingia hii mambo kabisa.
Yeah, my name is Edwin Oiko. I'm the chairman for the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. We are currently located in Rusambo. Yeah, the Rusambo ward or the Rusambo constituency as a whole.
All right. What does the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative focus itself on?
Kenya Youth Forum Initiative, this is a platform where we bring together all the creative and arts department in the community, because we all depend to one another, either way or the other way. So all the creative arts team together, we formed the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative, and now we are collaborating with the sports people, and we want to talk to our MCA representative, because we have some issues and we want to inform him about the platform that we need.
Okay. Data from the Kenya Poverty Report, which was released by KNBS, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, shows that incidences of poverty among households headed by those aged between 20 to 29 years is 26%, which is the lowest among all the age groups. So it seems that people who are between 20 and 29, who are the youth in this society, are grappling with issues of poverty. And I'm sure you've had to listen to many of the youth who come through to the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. What are some of the most pressing issues, including issues of poverty?
Okay, to give a correction is that defining youth by the term of age, that is 20 to 29, that's not the exact way of defining the youth. Youths, you can define them in different ways.
Okay.
So they'll just come to you according to how you understand the youth.
Right.
So their issues, they differ on the understanding of their lifestyles and the categories that they're put across. So most of the youth, let's say from the age to 20 to 29, the most people who are more energetic according to statistics. And they're the same people who are mostly employed, actually. And this because they're the people in the field taking the knowledge of what they do, and they're the people who want to transit from the young age or the teenage to the adulthood. So the age from 20 to 29 is a transition age. That's why it has a lot of difficulties at that era. And the most issues is that there is something to do with skills. That is, most people complain about it, and maybe the society's social inclusion with them in political, economical, spatial, religious, and also that matters too.
Okay, so between 20 and 29 is this age where the youth are trying to transition, trying to find themselves and also build skills, as you said, which will be very useful for them in their later phase of life. How are the youth then involving themselves in the community?
The youth in the community, it depends on the community itself and how it wants to socially include the youth. Yeah, depending on the formation that is in communities and the organizations that have been formed before in those communities, that will trigger and how the youth are
going to involve themselves.
Yeah, and how the youth are going to involve themselves in the community. So in today's digital era, most of the youths are running to these the social media parts. That is, most of the people booming now, the youth between 20 to 29 are the creative and arts team.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you look at that team, if they have a very good platform and a very good engagement, the creative and arts team, that is, it is a wide range. That is, you can say from music, dance, the content creators, the comedians, and the fashion and design. All those are the creative and arts team. So if you unite this team together in a society, we can be able to teach the other elders on how we can have a greater social inclusion between the youths and the community.
Right.
Because if you have a greater social inclusion in all departments, that is the political, the religious, we all understand this, and maybe the spatials, the economic. You know, if we all come together in most of the communities, that is, let's say we have a 1:4, that is 1 older man, 4 youths in number, according to the statistics we have. If that's the number, that means the youths in the community, they have a greater impact. They can change the status quo within a while.
A short span, right.
Depending on how you have their mindsets, depending on how you include them with what you pertain to do or what's the plan of the community. That dependency will bring a lot of change.
Right. But I understand from what you're saying there, which is a very brilliant point to make, is that, you know, for a very long time, I think we've been pushing towards inclusion of the youth in political spaces mostly. When you hear we need to include the youth, it's, you know, where are the appointments, where are the positions for youth in the political space? But you've rightfully brought up the creative space as well. You know, how are the youth being included in their creative sectors, where they thrive the most, and I think they understand it even better than any other member of society.
According to my opinion, is that I was thinking, if, what if we have in every, let's say, in every ward, we have elections for a youth representative, that is a youth representative representing the creative and arts team, a youth representative in the sports area, another youth representative at the ward level. You know, if each ward level can accumulate maybe three youth representatives that is elected by the youths to represent the youth in the issues at the ward levels, you know, that will bring a great impact in today's in our nation's compatibility and engagement. So if that is given a point, that is youth be involved in their elections, in electing their youth representative from the all levels, coming straight upwards, that can bring a very big impact.
Right. Sort of devolving youth involvement, Instead of having youth issues discussed on the national level, at least have someone that I can walk out of this station and speak to as my youth representative.
Yeah, in every community, maybe all in every ward level, because we already have the social centers and the community centers. You know, those community centers should be serving as a, like, for example, let me ask, Sayu Kezataka, maybe somebody for plumbing. You'll have to guess.
And I guess in
that's the point. Right. But if we have these, the youth centers in every community, such employments and such people can get a place where they can drop their papers so that they can be given works. Because we have some maybe plumbing people, the welding. There's no place where you go and let me employ. I'm looking for employers for welding. Where will I get them?
Right.
You know, that's a challenge.
All right. There is an initiative by the government recently, the Talanta Hela Council, right?
Yeah.
And it's an initiative, well, the council isn't currently present, but the Talanta Hela initiative is active and it's already sanctioned by the government to help the youth. There is the Youth Empowerment Fund, there's Tujiajiri initiative, there's so many here and there by the government, Kazi kwa Vijana, Kazi Mtaani, and all of this. Do you think they play a crucial role in empowering the youth and giving them a voice in society, or do you think there is a much better way? I know you've already, provided an alternative there, having youth representatives, but these ones that the government is already kick-started, are they helpful, or what is the general feeling of the youth?
Okay, according to what I've been seeing going around the Talanta Ela and all the initiatives that are being put across for the youths, actually speaking, is that, those initiatives, the way they have been formed is like, it is a reaction for the problem. It's not finding out the problem first.
And fixing it.
Yeah, I can give a good example of a system that found out the problem and then invented on how to solve it. Look at the person who was standing for the education. He brought about CBC. CBC is about finding out before loading the kids with a lot of facts.
Right.
That's
finding out what the problem
is. Before loading us, maybe the kids with a lot of facts. Okay, the facts, yes, they need the facts, but they can't realize on what's the importance of the facts. That's why we had a lot of school dropouts back then. But by this CBC and the way the sanctions that have been put in the CBC with the education, that is they find out. So if the youths too, they can implement a project, maybe somewhere of a good initiative that can find out the root causes.
Right.
Finding out the root causes before, then you come to solving the solutions or the issues.
Providing the solutions.
Yeah, the issues you found. That can be a great way to initiate all the youths with the issues.
Right.
So maybe if they want to form maybe for example, do you know the youth council? Okay, we normally have a national youth council, but in some areas people don't know who are those national youth councils, but they do exist.
Right. And there's a whole committee.
There's a whole committee of the national youth council, but we have never get in touch with them.
Right.
Even most of the people, most of the youth, they don't recognize.
So you think the government is focusing more on reacting to the impact of the problems rather than fixing the problem, just providing band-aids and patching here.
Yeah, that's because if let's just be factual. Looking at the youth department area, in our country we are all known for creativity. Kenya is a country of creativity. If that creativity is put in a way that, in such a manner that it can be compatible with all the youth, because 65% of the youth's population in our nation is a great number to change the status quo within maybe 5 years to 7 or 10, depending on how you'll have an impact to that figures, because figures matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the weak points that so far you think you've observed which have led to the low youth involvement in community welfare?
For now, the biggest one is about youth and health, because the health is important. Health, we are not talking about being sick, or health is just the peace of mind that the youth
mental health.
Yeah,
right.
The mental health. Apart from the mental health, we have another one that is the social inclusion that I mentioned before.
Okay.
Because when this COVID interrupted, actually things changed. That people became more lonely. So if there is a social inclusion in all departments, you understand?
Yes.
If there is social inclusion such that from the political arena, we have been included as the youth. We have our say and our voices can be heard. Then on the community level, the economical, on the economics, each and every year more than 500,000 people graduate from universities and they want to
get jobs,
to enter into the job market or the labor market. But the big difference is that in each and every year, apart from those 500,000, the number that is needed for employment is low. So youth should be included in economical social inclusion such that they do not need to wait for them to graduate so that they can have an employment. They should be forming, or they should be presented with a platform first in each and every community, using the youth representative that I had said.
Okay.
If you use that strategy with the youth representatives in every ward, they will have a platform, that is the centers.
Right.
From those centers, youth can come with their creativity and innovations. Before even the graduation period, they could have brought up an
So we
idea.
separate graduation and the labor market. We separate those two things in that you don't have to wait for graduation for this other part of employment to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I've got your point.
Yeah, you have come to my point.
All right.
Instead of waiting for the graduation, you know, the grace period from maybe, let's say, the degree people, you have to take maybe 4 years, and others may take to 6, depending on the course. You know, taking 6 years or 4 years, that's a very large
Period of time.
Period of time. But on another issue, that grace of period is also an advantage to others.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know why? Because from those 4 years, there are some others who will depend on their parents at that period. So they will expand their transitions from the youth age to their independence. You know, the first understanding the youth on the definition of the youth can give out a wider range of how we can tackle their issues. First thing is we should understand who are these youth that you want to
help get a voice in society.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to understand them.
All right. How are things at Kenya Youth Forum Initiative in terms of creating special programs or initiatives to also try and either sensitize or involve the youth in the community welfare?
As the Kenya Youth Forum, for now, we are working at Resamble. There's a project we want to administer. So we united with the creative and arts departments in the Resamble area. Now we want to bring together the sports department so that these two, because those are talents.
All right.
You know, these talents, sometimes when we were at high school, these talents, we had to, they were more much, how can I put this word?
Extracurricular?
Yeah, the extracurricular in high schools, they were perfect. People showcase their talent, but after the high school level, their talents may be diminished because outside here, there's no the greater support like the one that was in high school.
Okay.
So from Resamble itself, we want to bring out the creative and arts team with the sports team so that we can nurture their talents and teach them on how to make some income through their talents, not depending on the education system alone. But they need to be educated because learning is everyday part of life.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some success stories maybe you can share with us from the initiatives and the youth that you've supported? How have they gone out there? Some that you can point out have done something in society or have programs that are out there running?
Pardon?
Are there some success stories that you can mention for us, maybe some projects that some of the youth under Kenya Youth Forum Initiative have been able to start, or maybe some sensitization forums that you've been able to take place?
Yeah, we have been having some projects. Like we developed a rabbit project in Siaya County, that is in Keroka. We have a rabbit farm that is already 7 months, and that rabbit farm has created employment to more than 14 people. Then we developed another farm in this place, Nyamira, next to Kisi. That is, we have a chicken farm. Then for now, in Nairobi, Resamble, we have a sound system for music production and event organization, which is also employment to a number.
We had a conversation here with a gentleman earlier, I'm sure you were watching it as well, on snail farming and trying to involve the youth in these kind of alternative forms of farming and generation of revenue. Do you think it was a great initiative? What comment do you have to make about snail farming? Would you have snail as a meal first before we talk about it?
Before the snail as a meal, it looks disgusting.
Yeah.
when it's alive.
When it's alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe if you just serve me, you bring the plate on the table, then I take the meal. After that, maybe after 2 hours, when the meal has settled in my stomach, then you can just tell me, yeah, that was a snail.
That meal was delicious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Youth involvement, such alternative ways of farming. Do you think those are something that you would, encourage people to pursue?
You know, there is this hashtag going around that is going green. Going green is the best option because you're looking at the way factories are destroying the carbon and everything. Going green is the best option. like let's say people are complaining sijui bei ya unga imepanda
sana,
unakula ugali peke yake. You can have some subsidies, maybe for example like the sorghum, the cassava. Those are the things people don't even think about. But those are the indigenous foods that are more stronger than anything
else that we used to. So diversification is good.
Yeah, even I woke up with the cassava today and I'm still energetic.
They are strong. Yeah, uja complain. Yeah, cassava ijapanda.
Imepanda because they are scarce than the Japan. Yeah, because for now, like let me advise to those youth doing agriculture. Something like rabbit farming. That is a hot cake for now. Something like these ducks. That is a hot cake because the demand is high and supply is low. Something like indigenous food. That is a hot cake for now. People doing those things. It is a very hot cake to them.
Right.
Because the demand is high.
Right. They say chaos is a ladder,
but
and
the supply is,
if we are having a very tough economic situation, alternatives are good. Kama watu wana complain kuhusu unga, supply them with sorghum.
Supply them with sorghum, cassava, yams, sweet potatoes. Those are some indigenous foods that are more energetic and they can keep you. You can look at the for example, my people from Western. Those people are very strong and energetic. You cannot compare them with people from other areas.
Right. Yes, we are. People from Western, we are very strong, as you can see.
Yeah, strong.
And like others. Anyway, how does KYFI, that is the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative, collaborate with other organizations or even the government, or how do you plan if that isn't on roll yet?
We are planning in we are planning in first. I approached the director for ACCPA, Mr. Masharia, to discuss on some issues on how he will assist us. Then secondly, I united a Kenya Youth Forum with some representatives from Bomet, Nakuru, and which these are Bomet, Nakuru, Nyandarua. Those three, they want to bring on the table on new projects. That is, they want to create something like the media area where people can be having the platform for musicians and artists and comedians. They want to bring a platform in Resamble area that will be a one-stop center. And I had the member of County Assembly, the Honorable Sospita, I had his third program is Resamble one-stop center, the Resamble Youth one-stop center.
Okay.
So we are planning on how we can discuss further. Maybe we have a meeting on Friday with the Resamble Creative and Arts team on the sports, and we are looking forward to invite His Excellency to come
and grace the that is the event that you're planning there.
The event.
Right. Other than what, of course, you're doing so far as an individual, maybe a youth who's out there watching individually, they're not in they're not in any organization. How can they obtain a voice in the community in which they're in?
The best way to obtain a voice is forming a unity. Unity is power.
Okay.
That's one thing people forget. Unity is power. If you form a team, but there are people who don't like having companions. To them, now the society is the one to form the platform for them.
Okay.
Because one person cannot
change the whole world.
Cannot change the whole world.
Okay.
But together, the whole world is like a hand.
Okay. All right. That is a great way to put it. That you either form, either you form a collaboration of sorts, or the society itself should provide with you a conducive environment for that. Speaking of society, maybe as we try and wrap it up here, there's been concerns that the government of the day is demonizing the youth of this society. There's talks from the highest ranks of the executive that youth are just in alcohol, drug abuse, and they're not doing anything. They're just idle. There's a very huge crackdown upon the youth. Do you feel like this is painting youth in a very bad in a very bad light, or is it actually legitimate concerns that we should take a chance to self-reflect on what we're being told by our elders? How do you take this kind of situation?
Talking of that situation, that's a very good question you've asked. Let's say the office of the deputy president. You know, that's the biggest office. That's a big office because it is second in command from the president. Yeah. So if that office is the second in command, and the same person speaks of drug and substance abuse, that's a show of how concerned that person is towards the youth in the society.
Right.
Yeah. You know, the media, they say he's a truthful man, but actually I confirmed it when he said that people can graduate, but there's no employment.
Right.
No, he's a truthful man. Yeah.
He's an honest man.
He's an honest man.
That's what he says.
That's what he says. But that's the fact I saw when he said people can graduate, but the employment...
We don't have jobs out here for...
Yeah, people, some of the youths took that word as a maybe a diminishing word to them, but that's the fact. Like, if you've already been told by the office of the deputy president that
there are no jobs for
you, he's not lying. You know, he has seen it, and there's no way you can come to help somebody who doesn't want to help himself. Let's be factual.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
There's no way you can help somebody who is not helping himself. You must see this person is trying to do something.
And then help them.
And then help that person.
Okay.
That's such like mtu amejaribu kujisaidia. Let me give a boost to him so that he can be on top. And that's what the office of the deputy president wants us to do. When he said that there's no job opportunities after graduation, he didn't say that there's no job opportunities at all. But what he meant is, before thinking of the graduation and searching for employment, first, with the knowledge you've been given, what can you do with the resources that you've been given? You've been given the knowledge. You've been shown, this is how this happens. Let me say, like the people for creative and arts. I'm using creative and arts so much because I'm a student in creative and arts, and I've seen how things work. Like a person in creative and arts with the skill, the little skill. Let me say you have done a course in graphic and design. That little skill, if you implement it on the ground, it will actually bring itself employment to you before the graduation happens. So what youth need to stop seeing is the negativity. You know, positivity is the always best vibrations. Avoiding this negativity and looking at the positive measures, that is like, there's no employment after graduation. Okay, what do we have on the ground?
Okay.
What resources do we have? Let us look on what we don't. You know, people mostly look on what we don't have. Like, oh, sina gari. You know, you understand those points, eh?
Instead of Nikona.
Let's first look. I have this. Nikona hii. Nikona hii. What will I do with these available resources that I have that can bring importance to that what I don't have?
Right. And I think I will take this chance to maybe issue half an apology, because sometimes we paint a very grim picture when it comes to what is happening in the society with the youth, you know, the economic situation of the republic, and it feels like we are in a very desperate situation. But we've rightfully said that it's important we also see what kind of resources are there, even if limited. You know, if you're in
let me correct you. You don't have limited resources.
Okay.
Actually, Africa and even Kenya, those are. This continent we are is a blessed continent.
Okay. You think this is a fallacy to say we have limited resources?
We have everything we need. Let's take for example, today everyone has a smartphone.
Okay.
But do you know that there is one thing in that smartphone that if it is not there, which is found in Africa, there's no an importance of that phone.
That's cobalt. Yeah.
Cobalt.
Right.
You get it.
Yes.
So you can imagine that in the whole world, everybody has a phone like this, using like 24 hours.
That's from Africa.
That's our resources.
Yes, that's true.
So and then there's this irony that those resources are within us. But the same ironical or the paradox comes that with the plenty of resources, we still yet complain. Employment, poverty, you can see those issues. That's the paradox of plenty that should be confirmed or checked clearly. Because
but then how do we rise above the system? Because the youth say that, there's resources, as you said, maybe, but the reason it feels like there's limited resources, that the systems are not favorable. We feel very blessed. We feel like there's a ceiling. Literally, there's a ceiling. If you think about it mentally, you can even feel the ceiling on top of your head. Like, this is how far I can go as a youth. This is how far I can go. There's some kind of block. How do we rise above that? Do you feel like that is a possibility? And then, eventually maybe amass all these resources we have. We have oil in Turkana. We have gold in Western Kenya. We have cobalt in Central Africa. Can we rise above the system?
We are just exploring everything we have,
Is it possible?
It is very possible. It is very possible, depending on who's the head of maybe the labor. What plan does he have to sustain these resources? And I'm very much impressed first with our president when he just looked and confirmed that with these IMF issues that he spoke about. If we look at what he's trying to show us, let's take about the grace period for 20 years.
Okay.
With that 1 trillion
loan repayment.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that 1 trillion, which should be paid yearly, that will be an extra 1 trillion to our budget.
Okay.
Then the youths, we should not be speaking of corruption at the higher level. We should just be speaking of corruption starting from the field level.
How's that?
Because from the field level, that's why I told you, the youth should be engaged in political, social, maybe let's say in cumulative, the social inclusion. They should have a platform, a place where they'll have the common minds on the creativity and the innovations. So if those places are there, then corruption should not start
up there,
fighting it from the up, because you cannot start fighting the head and here the tail is stronger than you see. Up there is just 3 to 4 individuals, but underground the number is large.
All right. So you're saying that we should, if we have systems that are working down here, if we have community centers, if we have programs, if we have youth representatives, and ensure there's no corruption on this level, it will be hard for the corruption up there to affect us.
It will be not easy
for them to be corrupt,
to have their corruption, because down here there's no corruption.
There's no room for corruption.
There's no room. That is one, by being accountable. That's accountability. Everyone in the community should be accountable. Let's say maybe there's a project you had, it should be done this area. Then you as a person in that community, are you concerned with that matter? At times we complain that these politicians, they come with that language like mkinipea kura nitaunda barabara nitawafanyia hii, but who goes to ask for that road that he promised you? Nani anafaa kuuliza?
Unafaa wewe uende umkeep to account.
Yeah, accountability.
Umtafuta muulize barabara iko wapi.
He told us he will push the road here. Push road here so that we can do this and this. Accountability is the first key. Then the second key is sustainability. Like, this place has been implemented, this has been done. Then you as a mwananchi, because the tax comes from the mwananchi, that's very absurd. That the tax is coming from you mwananchi, then you're the person destroying the facilities. Like, I was very annoyed with those students who burnt the school. The parents are accountable for that. The tax is paid so that they can learn. The teachers are paid by the parents' tax, but yet the people going to burn the institutions where they're getting knowledge. That's very absurd and that's very sad. That the youths who still are complaining about employment, still complaining about poverty, that the same people destroying institutions. That's a very absurd thing.
Very sad state there.
Yeah.
That you've painted. Whoa. That is a very intense discussion there on youth involvement in society. How can we get our voices heard? And the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative is trying to do collaborations, initiatives, sensitizations to ensure that we are getting accountable, but also creating structures that are going to boost youth involvement in community welfare. Creating a conducive environment is something that is on an individual basis a responsibility, but also the government trying to also be accountable to its citizenry as the promises they gave before they got into power. So it's not all about complaints, it's also taking initiative on your own, but finding a way to ensure it is long-term. Any parting shot that you have at this point, this will be your camera.
Pardon?
Any parting shot that you have for the youth?
Oh, okay.
Right.
For the youth is that this is the high time that we should see the reality, that is the truth from the truthful man that we say. We should see the truth. The truth is that we are large in figures. Then we are the most energetic. We are the most who can be more innovative and the IQ for creativity and innovation is high at our youth age. So the only one thing we need is that unity team. That's one power. You know, we cannot be saying that our voices cannot be heard, and yet we are not raising our voices. So the only thing we need to do is we should raise our voices. We should speak. We should be accountable and think about sustainability and what to do so that we can solve many issues in our nation.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us here, and we're hoping in next time you have an initiative by the Kenya Youth Forum initiative, please invite us and also bring it to the show as well.
Yeah.
So we can get to encourage more people to take up that chance and use the available resources that are there. All right, that has been a very great conversation. More is happening. Coming up in a short break will be the newly elected president of the TVET Students Association, Daniel Kiptanui will be here with me, and I already see guys who are excited to see him on the show. He will talk to us about youth involvement. How are the students in TVET institutions? They are the youth. How are they planning to involve themselves? There are no jobs out there for you guys who are in TVET institutions or in colleges or in universities. The deputy president has already said that. So how can we take up this chance to create ourselves employment, job opportunities, and also to build ourselves up in trying to get a voice for the youth in the community? I'll be back with that conversation and also to read your feedback in a short while. Biashara Tuesday is still on air.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Ulipopasi vuguvugu, ulipokuwa ni idea.
Safiri ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na uasi wa ADF.
Sasa unatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vilevile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaweza kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
This is my jam jam. I will never
kuonyesha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili bila woga.
Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza nyumbani.
Biashara Tuesday is still back here on air. KUTV Rise Today. We are taking a look at the developments of the day in the newspapers, but I'll be back with that with Daniel Kitanui, who is the president of the TVET Students Association. He's already on site with me, but I won't show him to you. So in a while, we'll be back to look at the headlines. But first, we just had a conversation here on youth involvement in the community welfare. The Kenya Youth Forum Initiative was here with me to discuss what exactly we need to do to amplify our voices in the society. A couple of you guys have been tuning in as we discussed that with Edwin Oiko, the chairman of that Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. Please do check them out. If you missed that conversation, it will be on YouTube later. It was a heated discussion. Fingers are being pointed back to the youth, you know. They say that when, it's very cliche, but when you point fingers, when you point at someone, there are 4 fingers pointing back at you. So maybe something to think about if you're a youth saying that the government is corrupt, you know. Maybe also look at yourself and see what kind of involvement or participation you've done to use the resources that are available to you for empowerment. The feedback that I'm receiving here on YouTube. Also, let me just mention a few of you guys before I come back on air. Proud of you, our chairman, Edwin Oiko. Your points are well articulated. That's Peter Cheruyot reacting to that conversation with the Kenya Youth Forum Initiative. Enoch Kipkoech saying he's proud of Tanui, who is the president of TVET Students Association. He'll be here in a short while, and he's happy and looking forward to this conversation. Martin Kiuna also tuning in to the show. Comrades Arena, kudos to the president-elect or president of the TVET SA. He'll be telling us more on that, and you're excited for his outstanding appearance on KUTV's Biashara Tuesday. On Twitter, Abed Mugambi is tuning in from Kasarani area. Tash Mitambo all the way from Thika. There is also Milkshake, and it's shake like the, like shake. Yeah? Milkshake. That's a very interesting name. Tuning into the show. Raini, watching all the way from Rwanda. Sydney Raini. Asante sana. Salimia watu wa Kibagala. I think must be a name somewhere there. On Twitter, Old Bastool, Nuta Kamau as well tuning into the show. Grateful for that. Continue sending in that feedback. Let me take a short break and come back with a newspaper review on what has happened in the headlines and what you can expect into the coming few days. All right, I have the Taifa Leo, Daily Nation, the Standard, the Business Daily. The Taifa Leo says today, hii imeenda. That's the headline on Taifa Leo, always getting it Right. Maumivu ya ushuru. There are details there. The new taxes that you'll expect. Some as early as this September. Others have been staged all the way to September and August for full implementation. But the ones that are starting as early as Saturday is VAT and others like housing levy, which your employer must contribute, or if they don't, there's going to be penalties towards that contribution. So 1.5% from the employer and also 1.5% from yourself if you're receiving a monthly pay slip. That will be deductible as beginning of July 2023. Hii imeenda maumivu ya ushuru. President Ruto there on the front page signing or assenting that finance bill into law yesterday. The Standard, which I already have here on set, Ruto Raila battles rescue Oduol from the axe. A flurry of calls from the Kenya Kwanza Alliance leaders convinced the senators yesterday to vote according to their plan, vanquishing any prospects of Azimio having its way in pushing out Governor Orengo's deputy. He was previously the senator and now governor of that Siaya County, looking to have his deputy governor impeached. They unanimously voted over in the Siaya County Assembly to impeach him, but then coming to the Senate where the matter was put to test, 27 senators voted no, 16 said yes, and of course now this saves the deputy governor for another 5 years at least, unless something else happens here between. Oduol is now back in office, going back to work with his governor, Orengo. We're getting a perspective of the president of the TVET Students Association to see how is it possible to work with the deputy governor after you've tried to impeach him. Is that even going to be a cordial working relationship into the future? Down there, showdown looms after Ruto's tax note, with the finance bill now assented to an act. The prices are expected to rise from July 1st. Here, there are notable taxes in the finance bill of 2023, which some are same-day collection, like that of betting, gambling, lottery taxation, 5% withholding tax for digital content monetization, capital gains, withholding tax, turnover tax, LPG, and also VAT on petroleum products. We'll be delving much more into the figures and also see if it's possible for you to survive in this kind of economy. Expensive loans add to the tax pain as Ruto signs bill. That's the Daily Nation giving you that information. There's a new, just a week after the new CBK governor came into office, that is Kamau Thuge, he's now called in for an upward adjustment of that lending benchmark for credit from banks from 9.5% to 10.5%, a 1% increase, which is a double-digit figure the first time since 2008. This means that the spending power of Mwananchi is continuously getting eroded, even with the new taxes in place. If you were trying to service your loan, as from the next time this is being implemented, it's going to be a bit expensive for you to be getting loans from banks, as that lending rate has now gone up. So that's something that you need to be thinking about. But first, let me introduce the President-elect. President, it's a chance to tell us which one is correct. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm Daniel Kiptanui, President Emeritus Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology, and I'm the current Chair, President of TVET Student Association, the Republic of Kenya.
All right.
And hopefully I'll be one of the honorables soon, 2027,
okay.
Yes.
Oh, 2027, you have some prospects?
Yes.
All right, we'll get into the details of that exactly, though we, amass your voter base as early as now. A lot is happening in the dailies. Maybe we can begin there, and then slowly, as we talk of politics, we can also switch into the politics of the TVET Students Association. When you look at the headlines this morning, and maybe a general reaction of what Kenyans are feeling with the finance bill, with the stories that have been prioritized here, like the CBK new and latest adjustment, does it paint a grim picture to you? What is your general sense of feeling as a Kenyan first, and also as someone objectively who's into the world of politics?
Actually, the topic in Taifa Leo, hii imeenda. Actually, hii imeenda ni kitu, it won't come back again.
Right.
It has been signed by the president as the law.
Okay.
And if it has been signed and perpetuated as the law, it is the law.
Hiyo imeenda.
Hiyo imeenda kabisa. And actually, it goes through the first reading, second reading, and probably the third reading in the National Assembly. And we see that there are some parts which were amended. They were deleting some section and inputting and replacing with some new subsection in the finance bill.
Right.
And I think I'll start by the housing levy. The housing levy, it was 3%, but now it is 3%, but 1.5 from the employer and 1.5% for the employee.
Right.
And we see housing levy, we start with housing levy, as the TVET Student Association right now. You see, let me just say, it is better to have something than nothing. I know this is not what we want. I know this is what we don't need it right now, but it is the only thing. Because 60 years after independence, right now you see we are being loomed by poverty, corruption, and we need something which can change our country. And the president promised to create 1 million job opportunity for the let me just say youth, but probably the technical skilled youth in the Republic of Kenya.
Right.
So I see 1 million job, it will create levy.
Right.
It has been reduced from 2.5 to 1.5 to 1.5, and also the import on those petroleum products. So we see that it will reduce.
When I listen to you, I feel sort of a positive outlook into how this Finance Act or the Finance Bill has now evolved into. You're saying that, on one hand, there are VAT, which is now adjusted upwards. There's that housing levy. It has also been capped. You can't contribute more than 2,500 and per month for the employee, and also the employer, the cap is at 5,000 a month. There's some positive outlook. Halving of that LPG, which means cooking gas is going to be a bit more affordable. I think the president has been very keen on trying to tame the rising cost of cooking gas. And then the railway levy reduced. That's positive as well. The import also levy reduced. That's positive as well. Do you think this is a wholesome finance act? Do you think there's something positive we should look forward to?
We also have the negative part of it. And the negative part of it is concerning the digital content creators.
Okay.
You see, these digital content creators are the youth of the Republic of Kenya, mostly, majorly, are the youth of the Republic of Kenya. And these youth are unemployed, first of all. They don't have any job opportunity right now. They don't have any support to start a business. They do lack funds. They do lack job opportunities and business opportunities and entrepreneurship in job market in this business world. And I see taxing the digital content creators, I think, even if it is the responsibility of us as citizens to pay taxes, but taxing the common hustler, because that youth is a common hustler, because he doesn't have, or she doesn't have any payslip right now. So I think in that part, it's so sad.
Right. And as there is a general feel that digital content creators don't remit taxes, which they actually do, and sometimes it feels like content creators are not a common mwananchi. There's a mamboga having a TikTok account, that's a content creator. There is someone else in formal employment who has their own YouTube channel later on, that's a content creator who's as well affected, right? And that's true that you cannot heavily tax mwananchi. According to the president, the only way that you can raise this extra 312 billion by KRA is to ensure that we're getting more taxes and getting to prosperity through these taxes. Is it possible? A question that we've been asking quite some time now. Is it possible for us to tax ourselves to prosperity? The president has compared us to nations out there, whose taxes are up. Singapore, taxes are high. UK, taxes are high. But there's universal health coverage. There's free this, there's free education, there's free that. The government is able to provide you with a few amenities here and there. Is it possible that we're headed in that kind of direction?
Actually, I don't see we are heading to that direction, because in Singapore and UK, you don't have corruption cases. Like in our country, Kenya, we don't have corruption loopholes in our country, like here in Kenya. So it's high time the president should focus in fighting corruption right now. Because corruption, you see, and it was so hectic that the previous government, I heard somewhere that they say that we are losing more than 2 billion daily. How? To who? Where? Why are we losing 2 billion to these people? And you see, let me answer you that question. The TikTok likes, the TikTok comment is not money. I can have 16K likes, but that's not money. I can have 16K followers, but that's not money. So I think saying that maybe a content creator, he or she is a rich person, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Right, that's true. Let me also just read some of those notable taxes in Finance Bill or the Finance Act are effective from 1st July 2023. Again, same day collection on the standard at the front there. You can see that tax node, and this is going to budge that toward that 3.6 trillion hustlers total budget, and this is for the first year of 2023-2024. 5% withholding tax on digital content monetization, capital gains on transfer of shares, partnership interests, or comparable interests where they are derived more than 20% of their value. 5% withholding tax on sales, promotion, marketing, advertising, services offered by resident persons. 3% turnover tax for businesses whose revenues are from 1 million to 25 million, exemption of LPG from the 8% VAT, 16% VAT on petrol, kerosene, aviation fuel, jet fuel, etc. Import of raw materials and intermediate products by manufacturers, now 2.5% of customs, up from 1.5%. Input for construction under the Affordable House Scheme, 2.5% up from 1.5%. This 16% on VAT is supposed to raise that 50 billion, right? For patching this extra amount that the government needs. One other thing that the government has done, members of parliament have approved the raising or the scrapping of that cap on the lending, government borrowing. The debt ceiling at 10 trillion, but now it's going to be a calculation of the debt anchored as a percentage of the GDP, which will be at 55%. And currently, Kenya is at 70% of debt to GDP ratio. When it comes to debt, how can we tackle that in your own, view?
I think we need to sacrifice right now as a country, because we can't inherit debts. We need to inherit business ideas. We need to inherit properties. We need to inherit nation wealth, but not debts. So I think it is a good initiative.
Who should sacrifice, Bwana President, if I can ask you that? Who should sacrifice? Should it be the office of the president, the deputy president, and the prime CS, whose, a chunk of this budget is actually going to the executive, right? Yes. It feels like Mwananchi is the one sacrificing a bit more than the leaders.
I remember, I think 2.2 trillion for the executive budget.
Right.
And I think we are paying for the government. And let me ask you this question. Do you think maybe the prime minister, prime secretary, cabinet secretary, is he paying rent?
No, he doesn't. Of course, all provisions by the taxpayers.
Is he Mama Mboga or Mtu wa Boda Boda?
None of them are.
None of them are. So I think 2.2 trillion, it should be cutted off. It should be reduced to maybe 1.2 trillion. The 1 trillion should pay debt in our country right now. Because you say they are using it for fuel to travel. Okay, no problem. Those people, you can't say that they are being loomed by burden of paying school fees,
right?
Maybe college fees, maybe rentals, maybe buying sugar. Actually, I think they don't know the budget of bread right now. Even I don't know if they know fuel. So they are just there. These are the big people.
To them, these are just numbers.
These are just numbers, because the reality is in the ground. Vitu kwa ground is different. People are crying because of unemployment right now. We do have more than 5 million because of this. So I think we should have reduced the debt by reducing the executive budget from 2.2 trillion to 1.2 trillion. The 1 trillion should pay debt. Because now I think they are paying around 700 something billion. So those billion, it will take around 12 to 15 good years. With the current budget, each and every year, 12 to 15 years
for us to repay
the debt.
Okay.
And I don't know if they will still in power. I don't think so.
Any confidence? This is not the first or the last finance bill, as Kimani Wachira keeps saying. The president emeritus of the TVET student association that you're heading currently, he keeps telling us that this is not the first or the last of the finance bill, but this has to be actually the fastest I've ever seen a president sign a bill into law. Is it Is it a sort of anticipation? I don't know. Maybe we'll get to see in a year's time, because this is supposed to give or to give power into this budget of 2023-2024.
I think the president right now is only few months in the office.
Yeah, 10 months, I think.
10 months in the office. And the same president will seek re-election in 2027. If he wants anything, give it to him. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. At the end of the day, he will be accountable of what he says to the common mwananchi. And maybe the 2022 election period were concerning about the Hustler Nation, Mama Mboga mtu wa chini. And some of us voted the bottom-up economy model. We didn't we voted for the economy model because we saw that we are still Mama Mboga mtu wa chini ainuliwe. So we thought, and it's still our hope that, and maybe we are still on the right track, and I pray that let's be on
the president
right
is saying kwa wale ambao wanamsumbua atawakalia ngumu. Do you think maybe there's an angle that we're not seeing from the president's side, and as you say, maybe hopefully the bottom-up economic model might rise up and support common mwananchi?
Remember, in 2022 general election, the youth of the country didn't participate very well in the election. And I think 2027 we will come forcefully, actively, because we want what we want. We want to claim what belongs to us. Because now we are the future generation of our country. We are the future leaders of this nation. And in 2027, it is the only year that we will have election, as the youth. Probably maybe 2032 I'll be a parent. Maybe I'll be in another stage. So I must claim the unemployment issue to counter the unemployment issue 2027, to get those funds to do business in our country right now here in Kenya. Like, we are not okay. We may see that we are happy, but we are not okay. Dressfully in a suit, but very sad.
It's funny because last week was also the week that WRC happened. Over in Naivasha, and we had been complaining about the finance bill the whole week, and the government sees us in Naivasha all happy and having a good time. They're like, these guys have no problem. These guys have money. We should tax them a bit more. And speaking about it, just before the ink dries up on the finance bill 2023, the president has already given a new proposal, NHIF 2.75% of gross income, and also there is a proposal that even the guys who are not employed should also contribute to this national health insurer. The cost of loans is also going to go up. The new CBK governor just came in, and for the first time in 7 years, he's pushed the lending rate interest up to 10.5% from 9.5%, the first double digit ever. Looks like there's no one who's concerned about
the rich will become richer and the poor will be poorer. Because I don't think, if now, us as the poor people, I will talk as one of the Wanjikus.
Us as the poor people.
Us as the family. So
yes, tell us about you guys.
We don't have right now, we don't have something to claim that is ours. Only our phones.
Okay.
So,
and those are about to get expensive, by the way. There are new taxes on smartphone importation. So maybe
we'll go back to the using smoke as a form of communication.
Right.
So these loans, I think the only rich people will become more richer, because they will be the only people to assess these loans. Because I as the youth of the Republic of Kenya, I need to come up with an idea, with a business idea, so that I can have these loans. And CBK, I don't know, but raising a 1% profit, for them, it won't help me, but it will help the CBK, not me actually.
Right.
It will, I see, by 1 percentage point.
Getting back more, and also this is going to affect, of course, dampening investments, hiring, less companies. Even speaking about the housing levy, if you are forcing the employer to contribute 1.5%, and this is going to be maybe 3,000 bob or 5,000 shillings of your money, if you need a raise, that's not going to happen. There's going to be a hiring freeze. Companies are now more pressed about remitting taxes to the government and less about getting new employees. Borrowing costs are now going up, which means companies which need to operate through loans offered by these banks not going to get enough capital to run their operation. This is carrying even foreign investors. Over at Tulo Oil in Turkana, we did see that the companies, Total Africa Energies, which was operating there, gave up their shareholding interest because they do not see any returns from any export they're doing. Either much more is going into taxes or more into operation costs and less from revenue and profit. What is your outlook on the future of business as we wrap up on this Finance Act?
I think in our country right now, our country Kenya, we do have a lot of resources. Actually, a lot of resources now. And maybe, you see now even saying that we do have the food crisis in our Kenya, the cost of living is up. That is so ironical because we do have lands, we do have the soil, which we may plant and maybe we will harvest. We'll have for food security. And the business future of our country depend on good leadership. And who are these leaders? And right now, these leaders, let me just say we the leaders, because we are part of the leadership in Kenya. We need to sacrifice our self-interest and think about others. Because you see right now, I can have 2 or 3 more cars. Now I'm earning more than $1 million in 1 month with a lot of business. My net worth. Yeah? I'm so proud in saying in a national television my net worth is 430 something million. That's not serious. Because right now in Kenya there is someone who lacks food. There is someone who has been burdened by the crisis of school fees, a comrade. Now each and every day a student is committing suicide because of depression. A youth is committing suicide. And these people, the youth are the one in drugs right now because of the stress and depression. They are suffering mentally and even physically because of this crisis. And I think we need to focus on those people who don't have. And the housing levy, I will just add this, is like transferring the people who have to the have-nots. Because I have a house, I have a salary, I will contribute to help. And I think they will just state it clearly. They could have just stated clearly that this will help those who don't have. Because I do have a house, I do have a farm, I do have a reserve in Nakuru, I reserve in Siaya County, and I do have an apartment in Nairobi. So I think this will help those who don't have. Because slums, we do have slums in our respective cities, Nakuru, Mombasa, here in Nairobi, and I think we need to sacrifice as a country. We need to think on others, because thinking about yourself, you can't, that money can't buy you life. We had big people who are not here. We have the former, the His Excellency, with securities, the dictators, those people, the goons, the tycoons. Where are they right now? So we need to think on others. That is what we call humanity. Yes, that is humanity.
We need to look beyond politics and also take a sneak peek into humanity. Above you being a leader or a politician trying to make name or make a career for themselves, also think a little bit about that other fellow human being, even if sometimes we're counted as a statistic. You're a voter, you're one vote, and that's, I think, has a really huge repercussion on even how our voting trends become. You said in 2027 the president will be back for re-election. Do you think Kenyans will have changed their view at the time, or will just be back again to maybe we punish him with electing Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua as we did previously?
So, you see, Kenyans, we are so forgetful.
Yeah.
And previously, last week, we were in Naivasha. We forgot our problems, our challenges. We forgot the cancers. We forgot the issue with national media, with
the edible cooking oil. Yeah.
And we focused on WRC. And now you'll see, like, even when you read this Daily Nation, you maybe think this is not our Gazette as Kenyans. Because we are good in pretending. Like now we pretend we are happy, we are okay right now, but things are not okay. So I think these people are the same. They will come, mkono, salala. They will appear massively. They will appear massively. So I think, and I believe the president, and I hope for the president to have this idea that don't forget us. It is our prayer and request. Mr. President, we respect you. You are our president, and you are our head right now.
Isn't it sad though that after electing a government into power, we have to come back and the government should be a servant of the people. Should we
like we are accredited, and Chapter 1 of the Constitution states that the sovereignty belongs to us as the people. We are the voters. We elect them.
Right.
Yes. And in Finance Bill, Chapter 12, it says the responsibilities of us is to pay taxes equitable. The 2010 Constitution.
Right.
Yes. So
it's the sovereigns who have to even suffer the debt that is accrued by the country. Yeah.
Yes, we are the one. We put that burden on ourselves. We are the one who put it for this government.
Right.
Remember.
And they're acting on our behalf.
And they are acting on our behalf right now. And I don't know if the opposition, if he was the president, I don't know if he will have changed this way, because the same people are in this finance bill. So this is not new. Maybe it was just for the literate people who knew about it, but it was there a long time ago.
Right.
Even for the previous government.
Yes. All right. There's an issue of that is it in matters of the Finance Act of 2023. From Saturday, expect new taxes. Will be here on Tuesday to tell you how you've been adjusting, to hear how you've been adjusting, and also to see whether there will be any economic prosperity, because this is the president's means of raising revenue for the republic and taking us to the next level, as he keeps insisting. So maybe by a very little chance, this might be it. Maybe next year we'll swallow our words and say, apologies to Mr. President, you really had a vision for this republic. That's how we close on that part of the Finance Act. But recently, Kenya has opened its borders, and I'm trying to get your view as a president of the TV Student Association, and there's been an opening of the borders, Somalia, Kenya. I'll get your view in a short while on how that is, because there's also an issue of insecurity and fears of looming insecurity in the republic, and how the government really is handling such relations or bilateral relations when it comes to refugees and also matters of the security. But, Bwana President, before we do that,
yes,
I have a surprise for you.
Yes.
Take that pen. So there's something here that we play, a very short question session for our viewers, and as well as when we're on set. I have no idea of the questions, by the way. I'm always accused of rigging, but I can tell you I've not looked at the servers. So we get the questions, we have a few seconds to write our answers down, then we exchange and see how our knowledge base looks like, general knowledge, business knowledge, and also maybe a bit of geographical information. So let's go. If you're at home, here are the questions for you today. Let's see what you get. Give us your score down there. The first question, here we go. What is the Swaziland currency? All right. What date and month of the year marks the end of the country's financial year? Okay. Okay. All right. That was the second question. Third question, what is the strongest currency? What is the strongest currency in the world? What? Question 4, who is the founder of the SpaceX project? Which is the largest dam in Eastern Africa? Which is the largest dam in Eastern Africa? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right. Question number 6. Which African country has the lowest population? Country that's lowest. hard on hizi maswali. Who is the first Kenyan to win an Oscar award? I hope it's this one. Question number 8. Who was the wealthiest person in history? or future history, you mean, not
future history.
Oh, okay. Question number 9. Which is the biggest export in South Africa?
South Africa.
What? Biggest export in South Africa. Visas. Number 10, the last one. Which is the tallest building in Kenya? Okay, that's it. Let's go through the exchange and then see. Ile umepata tuone ile umepata. Change.
Umeandika.
Pesa ya Swaziland ni gani? What is this? I'm getting answers from my director, so we get them and then we mark them against each other. So kama uko nyumbani pia you can mark. What is the Swaziland currency? Swazililangeni. What is that? What is that language? Sounds kidogo vitu zifloat hapa. Sounds like a spell from a witch.
Maybe you repeat it again.
Swazililangeli or
Ngeli.
Swazililangeli. That one. So it's displayed there on the screen. So Neo pesa ya Swaziland. Question number 2. What date and month of the year marks the end of the country's financial year? I wrote 30th June. Is that true? 30th June. Praise Japata. Sitasema ameandika nini?
After 1 year.
Praise ameandika after 1 year. What is the strongest currency in the world? Has to be the USD. Oh, it's not? What is it? What is the strongest currency in the world?
Yes, the Kuwait.
Kuwait. What? How much is a Kuwaitian Swangileni for Kenyan shilling?
400 shillings. And I knew it, but...
All right, question number 4. Who is the founder of SpaceX? Elon Musk. I got it?
You got it.
Yeah? Ujamaa was so into politics, he wrote NATO. What is the largest dam in East Africa? Question number 5. I wrote Masinga, so I don't know. Sorry?
Not Masinga.
Grand Renaissance. My director tells me it is the largest dam in Eastern Africa. We both didn't get it. Question is there on your screen? Yeah, so that's the largest dam. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Hey. Okay, need to plan a journey to Ethiopia. Question number 6. Which African country has the lowest population? It has to be... It's Seychelles. He got it right. I wrote Eritrea. It's Seychelles. Okay. Seychelles. She sells seashells at Seychelles. Who is the first Kenyan to win an Oscar? Lupita Nyong'o. Is it Lupita Nyong'o? Yes? Okay. So Lupita Nyong'o, we got it. I think every Kenyan should get that. Question number 8. Who was the wealthiest person in history? Mansa Musa. Wait. Does Solomon count? He was so rich though. Question number 9. Which is the biggest export in South Africa? I wrote nothing. He wrote tourism. And the answer should be? Platinum. Not diamond? Okay. Alright. Question number 10. Which is the tallest building in Kenya? Britam Towers. Okay, Britam Towers is the tallest building in Kenya. Not KICC.
Not UAP.
Not UAP Towers. Sadly. The Prez. Sijui tufungue server ama...
Tufungue server. Hii imeibiwa hii.
What did I get there? The president has 2. And I have 4. below average.
Below average.
Below average for all of us. But that's it. If you're at home also, you can tell us what your score was like. But that is our session today. Thank you very much for having the conversation with us. I had just teased a bit there on handling, insecurity issues and also bilateral relations when it comes to insecurity issues. I find it quite a tricky conversation to have, and a very important one to have. A conversation that is had world over. If you go to the US, there's the issue of immigration. If you go to the UK, there's that conversation on, should we allow immigrants, should we not? How does security get handled in a situation like that? Maybe briefly, generally, how do you think Kenya should handle its refugee situation also, as well as security?
The refugees in Kenya, in Kakuma, in Dadaab, and I think it's now time we think as Kenyans. The government should think on a better way, because we do have our challenges. So when refugees still come, it still burdens us as a country, and it burdens us as a country. And you see now the issue of Africa at large is population. We do have resources, but for the few people who know about that resources. And for example, the rich people have few children. The people who don't have
a lot of children.
So I think those are the people who are being interfered and interrupted and disturbed by these internal and external conflicts. For example, in Southern Sudan, for example, in Somalia, and these are our neighbors, neighbor country, just few miles. So I think opening of these will create business for Miraa people, because the Miraa large from Meru all the way to Somalia.
So there's business, but also we need to look at it categorically.
It's just a risk-taking process, a risk-taking path. So we need to do it, because at large our Miraas will expire at our farms. It will rot in our farms. So I think opening those boundaries and borders, it will help, and we think we need to tighten our security as a country at large.
All right. Thank you very much, President. I wish we had more time to get much more of your feedback, but I'm hoping you will create time out of your mandate as President and get to speak more about us, about the development of the country with us. Maybe just giving you 30 seconds. As a wrap up, just to the students of the TVET student community, and a word from you as President under 30 seconds.
Okay, so now we are in a country faced with a lot of problems and an employment crisis now, and if we do not take up a step and empower ourselves, no one will empower us. So we need to be the opportunity takers and the risk takers in our society right now. So kudos to everywhere you are. You are hustle there outside, and you as a TVET graduate will come and take your CVs back to the DP Arambe House, because he promised us job opportunity.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much, President, for creating time for us.
Thank you so much.
All right. We're closing really well. Thank you for tuning in to Biashara Tuesday. Time has not been on our side today. Very important conversations we've had. Continue watching KUTV up until next week. My name is Richard OKENYE. I will see you around.
Askari wa msitu giz kukimbiza maswara after masjid masti ikilost isit wazin tunapiga baroda na kibara tumbo yoyoto mboya zilzombo tosi somangoto 6 feet deep ni vinalimaro